suspending the cooperation. The move comes after the Iranian parliament overwhelmingly voted in favor of the bill to suspend the cooperation with the agency. I am joined by George Birnbaum, the former chief of staff to Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Sir, thank you so much for joining me.
Good to be with you today.
Sir, my first question to you is, I'll come to the point here, sir. What do we make of the Iranian action?
So I think we have to look at the language. Nuances are important, especially in diplomacy, and some of the facts. They voted to suspend, not terminate cooperation. I believe what that means is they're trying to set a position for negotiating, whether it's with the United States or the European Union, going forward. So the fact that it's suspension, not termination, is good. It also did not vote to leave the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which would have also been quite devastating had they voted for that. So I believe that this is a negotiating tactic of the Iranians, they didn't vote to permanently terminate cooperation, rather to suspend, and that this is a way to open the door to negotiations. Now, having said that, they could be playing with fire, because under the 2015 treaty, which of course, as you know, the United States pulled out of, but the European Union is still a part of, there's a snapback clause, which means any one of the European Union countries, if they say that Iran is in violation of that treaty, the snapback of sanctions, European sanctions, immediately go back on Iran. And while I'm not sure France, who really hasn't shown a lot of leadership during this period, may do it, but Germany or other European Union nations might. And if that happens, it would be an overwhelming, devastating move towards Iran's economy. So they're playing with fire too, albeit that's what happens in the Middle East.
Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghei said that the legislation reflects the Iranian public's anger over recent events. Let me play out that bite for you.
Listen, the Iranian...
راجع به تعلیق همکاری هاست و در این قانون مشخص شده که در چه صورتی دولت جمهوری اسلامی ایران میتواند همکاری ها رو ادامه بده. قانون مجلس هست، لازم الاجرا است برای دولت و همینطور به هر حال بازتاب نگرانی و عصبانیت افکار عمومی ایران نسبت به اتفاقاتی که در این 2 هفته حادث شد.
George, despite a befitting response from Israel and United States of America, Iranian position has hardened publicly. I mean, that's something which is pretty noticeable.
Yeah, well, we have to separate the Iranian people from the Iranian regime. I don't believe this Iranian regime, I don't believe the Ayatollah, I don't believe the Islamic fundamentalists that speak on behalf of the regime are speaking on behalf of the Iranian people. Nor do I believe that this parliament, which is controlled by the regime, also speaks on behalf of the people of Iran. So I think we really need to make sure that when we speak about Iran and anything that they state publicly, whether it be through the foreign minister, through the president, or any other official, they're really speaking for the fundamentalist regime that is in control of Iran and not the people of Iran.
But do you think that this hard position can create ground for a counter-attack, create more suspicion? For example, if you recall the position which Saddam Hussein took after the first Gulf War?
So I think what this will actually do is it will, as I mentioned when we started, I think this is the opening of a negotiating tactic. Nobody really wants to re-engage with Iran right now militarily. Having said that, should there be evidence that they are enriching again, going beyond the 60% towards that 90%, I don't think that Israel nor the United States would hesitate to strike again. Iran is greatly weakened. Israel has taken out most of their military command. The command and control of the military is not there. They've taken out many of the know-how of the nuclear scientists that were part of this program. Despite the protestations and statements from the Iranian government to the contrary, Iran is in a very weakened position. So my opinion is that these votes in the parliament, these statements from the government, are really a negotiating tactic, not the opening salvo of a new conflict.
George, before I let go of you, if you recall, the fact that Saddam Hussein never admitted to the fact that he had disbanded the WMD program, which later a lot of Pulitzer Prize authors could prove. But no one believed him when he said that he does not have WMD, because he was taking stringent, hard position against the West. Similarly, the Iranian authorities are taking that position. Do you think it can really harm the Iranian state? That it will again create a fog? It will again create a space where the West, especially America, will not know the difference between what is right and what is wrong, what is truth and what is a hyperbole of a state?
I think the big difference here is that Israel, for many, many decades, has had a lot of human intelligence on the ground in Iran. They obviously share that intelligence information with the United States. I don't think the situation in Iran is as unknown to the United States as it may have been in Iraq because of the presence of Israeli intelligence in Iran compared to what existed in Iraq back in the day. So I'm pretty confident that both Israel and the United States have a firm handle on the actual situation on the ground in Iran. That's probably the reason why this went 12 days and not 24 days or 36 days. And I'm really hopeful, as I stated earlier, that while the statements coming out from Iran seem harsh, it's just really an opening salvo in negotiations.
So basically you're saying it's a negotiating tactic, taking a very hard position.
That's my belief.
Thank you, George. Thank you for joining me from Harare. So Iran has decided not to cooperate with IAEA, and they are saying that they will not cooperate with IAEA because they had been biased, and Tehran has rejected the request from IAEA's chief, Rafal Grossi, to visit nuclear facilities which were bombed during the war. Earlier this week, Pezeshkian described Grossi's destructive conduct, while France, Germany and Britain have condemned unspecified threats against the IAEA. And Iran's ultra-conservative Kahyaan newspaper recently claimed that Grossi was in Israeli spy and should be executed. So again, coming back to the same point, that it's rhetoric on full play and it should not get out of hand. So this is all I had on Point today. I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you and good night.
पता है, जब मैंने ऑफिस का कंफर्टेबल जॉब छोड़कर सिजर उठाई, तब सबने मेरा मजाक उड़ाया। टेलर बनना है, लोन कौन देगा? पर मैं कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए चल पड़ी। हर महीने एक SIP अपने बिजनेस के नाम। जहां सोच है, वहां सपना, और जहां सपना है, वहां SIP। SIP करे आपका सपना इन प्रोग्रेस।
While we do performance marketing, but we try to spend much more on our own organic. Okay. While of course we do paid and collaborations with a lot of people to get our wordings out, but this is a business where you have to communicate what people feel, what people need, and
make them
make